So it's my pleasure now to invite Mrs. Nandini Azad. She's the president of the Indian Cooperative Network for Women. Madam, you have the floor.
Thank you very much for having invited me on the panel today. It's indeed a privilege. First of all, I'd like to give my greetings from the Working Women's Forum and the Indian Cooperative Network for Women, Chennai headquarters. And I've come a long way, and it's hotter than here in warm New York. But it's a warm greetings from all the members of our forum. We work in 14 cooperatives in South India, in the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. We have about 500,000 poor women who are rural and urban workers in around 6,000 slums and villages. You see photographs of them on the monitor too. We started with 10 million Indian rupees and rotated it to 300 million Indian rupees with a 99% success. Transparent, women-led governance, where children of fisher people, girls from labor families are managing the IT and software digitalization. We work with 267 trades in the unorganized sector, which is unregulated, unprotected, uninvested, including fisherwomen, head loaders, lace makers, silk weavers, petty shopkeepers, and several photographs that have been exhibited. Having said that, I'd like to make one or two points on SDGs and women, particularly with regard to cooperatives. As far as SDGs and women are concerned, I think it's an absolute breakthrough where investing on women, gender equality is seen as a core and an important process for growth, peace, prosperity, and poverty reduction to take place. Secondly, the fact that we have a meeting at such a high-level dialogue area shows that cooperatives are ideal mechanisms for women due to their democracy and, Madam, as you said, participation, as well as the socio-economic features. But if women are in the decision-making process, as our case study is going to exhibit. Goal 5 of gender equality and empowerment of women and girls could be possible if 1, 2, 3, and some other goals, the enabling environment, go together, again, as our case study says. And the case study is not made for today. It's already been written up in 1995 in UNESCO, in the Journal of Poverty and Women, as a special issue. So this case study on gender and equity was written 15, 17 years ago. The SDGs has brought us back into fashion. That's about it. Now, the gender and equity model that I am going to talk about has altered gender relations, challenged structural poverty, spearheading social integration, and transforming labor into capital, but the surplus is in women's hands. Indeed, as somebody mentioned about culture, it is a counterculture by very poor women. And we identified 5 interwoven threads of oppression in the beginning: class exploitation, caste inferiority, male dominance, isolation in a closed world, and physical weakness. The first thing we did was we identified credit on easy terms for women for their work and life, as other institutional forms had failed to support them, around which we put in health and education, daycare, and gender-based violence, which is also such an important part. And we're one of the few cooperatives in the world which has gender-based violence as a product, because most bankers would not like to touch gender-based violence. But I think if you want a holistic development of women's empowerment, SDG number 5, you need to bring in all of this. Now, the new capital accumulation process, as we call it, at the base, where poor women are saving, poor women are accumulating, poor women are creating growth, it was followed by a viable strategy in a cost-effective manner and a sustained process of development. The change from indebtedness to oppression to productive employment, growth and empowerment happened in a particular sequence of 4 stages that I will highlight. I will highlight it alongside this SDGs. SDG 1, which you mentioned, Madam, end poverty, which is the overarching SDG. So moving away from poverty after loaning process, gender discrimination and indebtedness, ICNW, the Indian Cooperative Network for Women, created an alternate new age social co-op model evolved by poor women participated by and for them. So on their own terms, easy interest, easy installments, support services, and credit groups infusing leadership, confidence, and training so that they were able to take on the world, that integration. They had no unions when we started because the unorganized sector has very little unions. Just one? Okay. Today they are shareholders, board directors, creators of a new accumulation process, trained in financial literacy and trained in cooperative consciousness. Goal 2, end hunger, achieve food security. With debt burden lessened, with multiple loans and supports, diversification, growth of enterprises, better household food security was possible. Social action on food security, such as fighting against the public distribution system, was important for them. To us. So therefore, we have 1,000 co-ops, healthcare co-ops, managed by health leaders in MCH birth spacing. As far as gender equality, to empower women and girls, with asset creation and investing, including on the girl child, housing, sanitation, enhanced social status, dignity, and empowerment ensued. Emerging from the organizational power and collective action is a social platform of 50,000 women's groups making inroads into local government, generating a demand for government services, including schools, municipalities, the civic system, creating alternate structures with women as new leaders in the community and the household. As you see, I have half a minute left. I will now conclude by saying that, goal 9, building resilient infrastructure. We built innovative banking infrastructure and architecture, which was useful to poor women, and therefore poverty reduction was possible. And they could bank, they could accumulate as shareholders, and multiple loans and insurance and financial literacy. So simple to complex technology. A head loader could have a two-wheeler today. So this is the sort of thing that has happened. So finally, I would like to say that a gendered model of sustainable development where poverty is plenty, but growth with dignity not far off by poor women. And that is what our model is about, the gender inequity model. I have literature available, and I would be happy to distribute after it. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.